Hi.
Hi.
What is what's the one question that you ask yourself constantly to help you stay aligned with who you are?
Oh my goodness. What a we're just going to start off with the
We
deep
just go right
questions
in. We go right
right
in
away. So the constant question I ask myself to make sure that I'm aligned every
with who
single
you are.
day.
Every day, every week, like what's the question that you're always repeating to yourself to make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing in this world?
Yeah, I think that's first of all, that's such a great question. I think there's been so many times I want to go back to, I think maybe when I felt what I have felt misaligned. I think sometimes the signs, like it's not like you're consciously asking yourself all the time. I just think for me personally, I hit a certain point where I start to sit back and I'm like, wait a second, like this is not what I wanted to be doing. And I think sometimes it's you're in something for so long and you don't see it until you maybe have like a certain like aha moment where you start to realize like, wait, I said to myself that I was going to do this. I stopped doing this one thing so that I can start doing the stuff that I truly wanted to do and help people. But now I find myself right back to the beginning again. So I think for me, the question asking myself, I don't know if I necessarily have questions. I just feel like what has happened to me a lot is you just have this like feeling of like something's like off, and then you start to sit back and be like, hold up a second. And it's almost like that slow down to ask yourself, wait, what do I truly want? Are the things that I'm doing right now actually going to get me towards whether it's the life that I want, the business that I want, or what it might be? And if it's not, then what am I doing? Like, what are you doing?
I love that are the things that I'm doing taking me to the place that I want to go?
Yeah.
I don't know if we ask ourselves that enough.
For sure. And I think it's tough sometimes because sometimes it's unclear maybe where you want to go. And I think sometimes we want to be fully clear because you want to have this whole scope. I know for me, I do a lot of like vision boarding, writing out the places that I want to go and trying to get very clear, which can be a lot of pressure because sometimes we do have to be in the middle piece of that where maybe we're not certainly as clear as where we want to go. So like I think sometimes it's good to also take the pressure off a little bit of the clarity and just try and be and feel what feels good, what's not feeling good, and then you can kind of come back to that clarity sometimes a little bit later.
So what would you do? Okay, so you're doing a thing, like I don't want to be doing this.
Yes.
I know I want to be doing something else. I'm not super clear on what that next thing is.
Hmm.
What would you or what do you do in order to kind of work through that?
Yeah, I think it's a really tough place to be, especially for people who are high. I'm a high achiever. When I'm,
I've noticed.
yeah, when I'm certain on something, like you bet, like I know, like whatever. But I absolutely feel like that in between point that you're saying right now is definitely the hardest place to be. And I think if you don't fully know where you want to go yet, I think believe it or not, I think the best thing to do is give everything a little space. Like really maybe take a step back from a second, get back to the present moment. And a lot of times it comes to you when you're not fully thinking about it. Like you ever have a time where someone asked you something you liked or some very specific question, and for some reason you literally cannot answer it. Like there's just some reason you can't answer it, but yet you might be in the shower driving in your car and all of a sudden you have a full scope of an answer to whatever that thing was. I feel like that's the space sometimes that might be needed in order to figure out what you do want.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great point. It's where we always say like, oh, I have shower thoughts. It's like, well, that's the one time you're not looking at your phone. You're not in front of your computer. You're kind of just not doing anything other than just being.
For sure. And yeah, and it's hard to just being when you feel like, especially if you're in a place where you really, you want to achieve, and it's easy to just keep doing and doing and doing more and doing more. And I always say this to people all the time, but like more isn't necessarily better, right? Better is better. So the space I think is important. And as we're talking about that, I'm curious as to like maybe how you could ask yourself, or we can even ask ourselves, like how can we intentionally have the more of those shower moments? And maybe it is, I think I heard from somebody saying once that they do hop in a car and they drive for 30 minutes around town. No real clear destination as to where they're going, but literally just to drive, just to be like in that sense of, because a lot of times when you're road tripping, you get a lot of thoughts. And I thought that was a really fascinating thing.
I think it's super on point. So I know there's some author, and when he had a huge writing deadline, he would book a round trip flight to Japan. He would land at the airport in Tokyo and get on the flight and come back because that time gave him that isolation to finish his writing.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to do it on a plane, not gonna lie, but that's what a great
Yeah.
way to do it. Like it's almost like you're hacking it because it's
Yeah.
like that that's where if you're sitting at home in a space that's not creative or not, you're not gonna be able to go anywhere. You're not gonna be able to move anywhere. You're like when you stay stagnant is when you're gonna stay stuck. So definitely something like that. I mean, yeah, I wonder what we could do in our everyday life or intentionally weekly to make that happen.
What do you do?
For me right now, I mean, just like we were talking about as we were driving here, I feel like I've been setting these intention to do something called flirting with life, which is doing something once a week that has nothing really to do with business or anything, but just something fun. Like, so it might be the one day I told you I went and howled at the moon in Austin, right? Or I went to do a cheese tasting or something, but giving me space from whatever it is, the projects or things that I'm doing. And also while I'm there, setting the intention to be like, we're not going to think about work. We're not going to think we're just going to, like you said, be in that moment. So for me, I'm like intentionally setting out in my calendar random things that I could be doing. Another thing that I feel like really helps for me is for some reason when I go on like a nice, like it's not a crazy long run because I don't really love running long distances, but I'll do like a mile on the trail and then I'll walk back. Oh my goodness. I feel like that always like gets me back to like giving myself some space and giving myself intentional time to allow myself to breathe. And a lot of great thoughts and creativity and answers come from there.
Yeah. I'm big on the walking thing. I think I hate running more than you hate running. I just can't do it. It brings like so much pain to my body. And I find that I actually don't think that clearly when I run, but I think I find my thoughts flow far better when I walk. So I know in points of my life when I've had where it's felt like the most internal peace or the most kind of like calmness throughout the chaos of life was when I intentionally walked for probably 2 hours a day.
Wow.
And I would walk.
Amazing.
A lot of it was talking to Chat GPT. I'd have it on like the microphone,
Yeah.
and we would just have a conversation. And I'd walk, and I would just flesh out all my thoughts. But that was the space that I needed in order to allow kind of just my internal nervous system to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's so important, especially in such a connected world where, you have not only all the stuff from work, you've got, the noise of social media, you've got all these different pieces. It's like, how can we disconnect to reconnect type of thing? And it's like we're at a point where like we all need to be very intentional about that because you start to lose yourself a little bit. Honestly, it's so easy to lose yourself. And I think that I know people are like nervous about like AI, ChatGPT, all those different pieces. Nothing's ever going to replace the human's mind for creativity and what happens when we do have that space. I don't think it's ever going to be replaced, like that will ever be able to be replaced.
Yeah. A conversation I was having with a friend was if we're able to create more space for ourselves with AI, because it can now do a lot of things and we, have this ability to not have to do like menial tasks anymore, are humans ready for that much space?
Yeah, that's a great question because I feel like sometimes sometimes the little tasks are kind of what provide purpose and like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like, I think those little tasks are a good thing to do, but I see how it can absolutely create some space, especially I think if that task is really like like killing your energy. Like if there's a certain task that like is like, this is killing my energy, is there a way that I can automate it? I say absolutely all in. If it's a task that like maybe you enjoy doing once in a while or like it feels good for you, like what's the harm in still doing it? I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, it's kind of like what makes us happy.
Yeah, I think it really depends. Like, it's like automate the things that are really like if it's sucking the heck out of your energy, hell yeah, use AI. How can you get rid of that? Like get rid of it. But like certain things I think are still important. Even we had talked about like there's probably a way to automate it more, but like doing some of the outreach that I'm doing for the speakings that I'm doing right now, right? There's a way to do it that you probably could automate it, but you can tell it looks a little robotic-y. It's still not coming off very personal. There's something about meeting someone in person or looking at their profile and being like, oh my goodness, like, oh, I have a dog, you have a dog too. Like just that personal connection. I feel like sometimes that's something that is going to be really hard to replace.
Yeah. And I think it's actually causing a lot of shifts in this world where, I see it a lot in the B2B landscape that I'm in. People are gravitating back to in-person because it's proof that it's not robotic. And I think that's where like conversations like this are really helpful because it's proof that these are just humans having conversations.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think the more and more of us as humans, we're almost trying to find every reason to engage with another human versus having this autonomous, fast world kind of like pushing stuff in our face all the time. We actually want to slow down with humans.
Absolutely. And I feel like, I mean, I've seen that a lot. Connection just in general. I mean, especially now, like with doing all the keynote speaking, I feel that. Like I was doing these workshops online with thousands of people. And while I don't want it to be about the number on the screen, I couldn't fully see them. Like, and then when you're in person and you're like on a stage and you're truly looking into the eyes of these people and seeing them in real time and you're able to talk to them, like give them a hug after, right? There's something that is so special about that. And I think a lot of us definitely were missing that. We maybe didn't even know that we needed it as much as we needed it until it was gone, obviously. So I feel like it's definitely a powerful thing in person. I also am very much seeing it in the sales space. Like, I feel like before it was very easy for me to like post something on my story and people were just going to buy it. They trusted me, all these pieces. Now I've noticed like the sales process, it's much longer, and I honestly don't blame them, right? It's let's get to know each other first, like on a call. Okay, let me show you what I do a little bit. Here's a little bit like an assessment. Okay, cool. Now we can talk about committing to doing something together for a longer period of time. That process has lengthened much more, but I think it's because people they want that true connection with somebody, that if you're going to help me with whatever it is that I need to solve, that you're truly personally going to be there in some way and actually help me through this.
Yeah. Yeah. Fully agree.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of us in this world who just don't have a lot of connection with other humans. We're very isolated, maybe feel a bit lonely. Have you ever had a period of your life that was like that?
Absolutely. I mean, I still get lonely now. I think being an entrepreneur, doing stuff out of the norm, doing things that you're either creating or problems that you're going to be solving, there were so many times where I sit down and I feel super alone. And looking on the online space as well, you see the comparison, right? Because in your head, you think everybody has it figured out. You're like going online, you're seeing the next guru who's got the answer to all your problems and stuff like that. And then you're sitting there lonely being like, why can't I figure this out? And then feeling like you don't have anyone that you could maybe turn to in order to help you with those things. So it's you versus you. It's like, how do I do this thing? So I actually feel like it's very easy to get very lonely, especially in entrepreneurship in general.
Yeah. Well, which is crazy because for probably most of this world, you're the girl who's got it figured out.
Which is so wild. I think about that all the time because people on the outside in, they come up to me, they're like, da-da-da, and I'm over here just like, there was a moment I remember so vividly where someone came up to me, they're like, wow, your energy is radiating and you've all these amazing things. And I'm like, if you were like in my brain right now, you would know that like I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. I don't know what I'm doing. But I think it's the knowing, especially when you start to talk to more people who, especially you start to look up to. So for someone, maybe that's me, or maybe it's me, somebody else who I really look up to. And then they start to tell me, oh no, I'm literally having all those thoughts as well. Then you start to feel a little less lonely, for sure. But I definitely feel like the path of entrepreneurship is just a lonely place sometimes to be, even with like the speaking and stuff like that. It's like you're trying to figure it out and make it work. And it can definitely be really tough.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think for somebody who is, to your point, you are looking at somebody else and you're saying, oh, well, you have it figured out. And somebody's looking at you and they're thinking, oh, she has it figured out. And realistically, none of us have any clue what we're doing. We're all lost. And so
Literally.
Do you think it's best to like have the conversation with the person and just have a very authentic conversation and try to figure out like how you're both equally going crazy? Or is it just assuming that nobody actually has it figured out? If you just go through life assuming everybody's in the same position as you, everybody has the same thoughts, they just decide to take different actions.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the way to go through life?
I feel like, having that perspective shift on it definitely could probably feel like a relief and take pressure off of you, right? Because I feel like we, especially high achievers, like we put the pressure on ourselves to have it all figured out. So if we know maybe the person above us or someone who's doing something else also doesn't, and they're just throwing stuff at the wall also and praying that it sticks or whatever it might be, it definitely will, I think, give you that permission, like that permission to fail, the permission to not have it figured maybe fully out, which I think is really, really powerful. And I think if you can have those conversations with those people, it is helpful for you and it's also helpful for them. But coming from I think the conversations always need to come from a place of we can grow from it, right? Because you can have those conversations where it's like, everything sucks, can't figure it out, whatever. Then it's like, I don't know if that's a productive conversation to be in. But if it's a conversation of, hey, like, yeah, same, I tried this thing, like this did not work. Okay, cool. What's the solution? What else can we try? And I think that's a great conversations that you can have, because I feel like that shows like, one, everyone's just a human at the end of the day. And again, like you said, we don't know what we're doing. And also can maybe spark some kind of innovation or some kind of creativity to like find a solution to whatever that problem is. But yeah, end of the day, I think you think that you're going to have figured out, but you never do.
I remember hearing a quote where somebody said, everybody, or it was something along the lines of, everybody's doing the best that they can.
For sure.
And just believe that. Just believe that everybody's doing the best that they can right now in any moment of time.
Yeah.
It helps kind of take off, whether it be blame or victim mentality, because they're just trying to figure it out too. It's like we put so much pressure on our parents of, this is how my parents fucked me up. Like, guess what? Like, this is the first time they've gone through life as parents.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I reflect on that so much, because I actually don't think that, like, when I look back on the stuff that my parents had to go through, I don't think they fully ever told me like everything they had to go through, but I sit back and now envision some of those things. And I'm like, they were just so trying to do the best that they could. Like, for the way they grew up, they definitely up-leveled it. Like, they definitely were trying, like, they definitely did a little bit, like, a little bit more than what they had. They did absolutely, though. Like, they did the best that they can. That's why, for sure, like, when I ever go back and, like, think for therapy things and stuff like that, when I talk about maybe something like my mom or my dad did, it's like, absolutely, they were just really trying to do the best they could with what they had. With the knowledge that they had. And I don't think that they ever did anything, like, intentionally wrong to mess us up or whatever it might be. But absolutely, people will put blame on it all the time for their parents. But, we could put the work in, and we can change whatever happens next. For if you want to have a family or whatever it might be, you can be the one who says, hey, I'm going to try and be just a little better than that for this time around. And again, you're still just going to be doing the best that you know that you can, right? Later on, we might find out like half the stuff we did was wrong or whatever again,
When you find yourself in these, we'll call it mental loops of, I'm not good enough, or what am I doing? How do you get yourself out?
That's such an amazing question. So I know for me personally, I get stuck in like the rumination, right? If I'm in that rumination cycle, it is wild. It does not, it's like a whole other world that is like in your head. And a couple of things that I notice have helped me personally with getting out of that rumination and getting out of that cycle has definitely been, number one, do not stay still. Like, do not stay still and think you can think your way out of it. I think
can't fix the brain with the brain.
You literally can't. Yeah, you literally cannot fix the brain with the brain. Like, you can't think your way through it. You have to move. Like, you got to move in some way. It doesn't need to be like doing a crazy workout, but just get up and start moving. And that might be going for the walk like we talked about. That might be sitting down and starting to journal it on a piece of paper. Like, what am I really thinking? Like, getting it all down. And I feel like that really definitely helps to start to break the loop and the cycle when it happens. But yeah, you literally, I know that if you just stay still, no chance you're going to get out of it. Then I love coming back to the, writing out whatever that thought is, asking myself, like, is the thought actually true? Like, is this like a real thought? Is this actually true? Especially the thoughts when you say to yourself, like, am I good enough? Like, do I just suck at this? Like, is that actually true? Like, really, truly ask yourself that. Do you actually suck? Like, you probably don't suck. Like, you know what I mean? If it's true. And then trying to see what would happen if you were able to, like, remove that thought. Like, what would the other thought be instead? And it may not be you go from, I think it's really important about rumination. It's like, you may not go from, like, ruminating to, like, everything's great now. Like, whatever it might be. But maybe there's, like, one up level, like, one little step above that you can get to help you slowly break it out of it. And then as you start to do that, like, you'll start to get that awareness when these thoughts keep coming up, because they're always going to keep coming up. And you can just start to ask yourself, it's just like pausing and like asking yourself those questions, as you, and again, I feel like the pause by what I mean is like start moving and then you're asking yourself, I think is really important. But for me, journaling has been so massive in letting all of that out on a piece of paper, or even sometimes talking to my friends. I luckily have like such incredible friends. I have that one friend that I can send her the most crazy message in the entire world and she'll just listen to it. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good.
What a good friend.
She's great. Yeah.
And if we don't have that, that's when like ChatGPT comes into play.
For sure. You can ask. I mean, we love ChatGPT though, too, because it comes back. It's like, Angela, thank you for sharing that thought. And da da da. And then, I mean, it always gives great prompts. So, like, why don't we ask ourselves these questions? Or do you want me to help you create a badass letter to tell you how great you are? Like, or whatever it might be. We're like, thanks, ChatGPT. I appreciate it. But yeah, if you don't have somebody, I mean, that's where ChatGPT can come in to make people feel a bit less lonely. I don't know if you saw some of this, I can't remember where the study was the other day that a lot of people were using it as therapy and they actually felt for the first time. I think it was literally the founder of ChatGPT. He was talking about how people are like actually feeling like they've never been able to tell anybody certain things and they're able to tell ChatGPT that. And it's actually been a really positive thing.
Super fair. And I think what having a conversation with any AI, I'm just going to say AI now. So that way we're not plugging GPT the whole time.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, Claude and Gemini and all you others out there. What I find it helps me do is it peels back the layer of the question. So I think for me, if I'm ruminating on something or I'm struggling with something, I have trouble asking myself the questions that allow for me to better understand what's at the core of this feeling. Mm-hmm. And when I can just have a conversation, I notice for me as I talk it out, and then one of these AIs give me back questions and prompts, it slowly peels back the layer. And it's like, okay, well, there's another layer. There's another layer. There's another one. And before I know it, I'm like, oh, that's what's actually bothering me. And then it's a wildly different conversation. And usually the first thing I thought was the problem isn't actually the problem anymore.
For sure. No, absolutely. And again, what a great tool that we are able to utilize and have. And especially for people who maybe don't feel like maybe they're still lacking that connection that we've been talking about. Maybe they can't go somewhere in person. They don't have a friend that they can lean on just yet. It's great that we have that tool.
Yeah. Yeah. How did you go about finding really good friends?
Ooh, yeah. So this is also really fascinating too. I think that people may have seen, I don't know, they've seen my whole entire journey, right? And I don't feel like I had the friends that I have right now until my 30s. So maybe the past 2 years is when I got these friends, which is crazy. I always felt pretty lonely in my friend life. And it's not that because I wasn't social. I feel like I get along with everybody. Like I'm just one of those people that I love getting along with everybody. And I've always had those people that I see here or there. I can meet them on the journey, or they'll be in a small section of my life, but they don't stick. Like they're not like there forever type of thing. So I think I was missing the deeper friendships that I'm having now, where like it's like the friendships where what I notice is if I wasn't the one reaching out, maybe I wouldn't ever hear from that person because I'm the one who's like insinuating it. I feel like I'm super grateful because I now have friendships that I know if they don't hear from me in like a week, they're going to ask me how I am. And like, it's very mutual. But finding friends, I think the biggest piece was, when you're truly authentically yourself and you start showing up to places that bring that out in you. For me, I found my friends at the gym. Then you're going to be able to be more likely yourself because you're not in like another environment where maybe you're trying to be something that you're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like finding friends, like really for me was like, I was just doing stuff by myself, like on my own with the things that I love. And then it just attracted those friendships that decided to be really sticky and stick with me. And that's how I feel like I find it. I feel like sometimes in the other areas of my life, like maybe I wasn't truly fully authentically myself yet because I was still kind of like trying to figure out who I was. So it was easy to kind of try and do the things they wanted to do or act like them, even though I wasn't really sure. But when you're just truly finally acting like yourself, like I think that you can find a great friend group there.
Yeah. Yeah. Would agree. And I mean, that's how we met. At the gym.
Yeah, at the gym. I feel like, you're just like at the gym doing whatever. And then you start to realize, oh, we've got a lot of similarities. We're doing a lot of similar things. And then I know for me, like I'm the kind of person that I want people to be in my life forever. It's just always how I've been. Like I hate when they're like not, but I've just learned to let that go a little bit because I do know like people come and go. And again, it's not like they're gone forever, but maybe they're going to do off other life things and stuff like that. And I don't think that the friendships need to be a large number. I don't think you need a lot of crazy close friends. I think you have a core group of like 3 to 4 people that you can lean on or that you could have as your emergency contact, basically. I think that that's like the way to go. Not quantity, just really like just quality people that that you can lean on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised at something you said, which was you weren't always authentically you, and that's part of why you didn't have good friendships in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So going backwards in your life, you were what, 6-time Ninja Warrior, 8 times?
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah, 6-time American Ninja Warrior, Miss Fitness America, 2016, all the things.
So what about that part of your life didn't feel authentic to who you are?
That's so interesting. I think maybe I could think I was just still finding myself. Again, I just don't think that like there were certain things that I think that, and I'm trying to think if I can find any specifics that are in my head, but there was definitely certain things that maybe I knew internally, I'm like, like that's not for me. Okay, for example, let's just like put drinking. Like I've never been a big drinker. I just haven't been. Like, and a lot of the culture and the world that you're around, especially when you're in like New York City or you're doing just a lot of the culture that we were in, it's like go to the bars, go out, stuff like that. I personally that never felt authentic to me, like ever. Unless we were like going to a bar and like it's like a piano bar and we're like singing along or doing some fun thing or whatever. And I think it was hard for me to relate to the people who were like, oh, I can't wait to go out and have that drink at the bar and do the thing. When I personally was like, I don't even need to do that. Like, I want to go on an adventure, right? So like now the friends I have, it's like, what do you want to do? Let's go on an adventure to the mineral springs or whatever or a road trip and stuff like that. So I feel like that authenticity piece and finding you it comes with time. But then allowing yourself to like ask yourself, the questions of like, again, I remember being not feeling as comfortable or excited to be there as like I do now when I like go to the gym or I'm doing something fun and active like with the people we're meeting. So I think that it just takes time to, yeah. And then also like when you're around certain people, it's like maybe that's like from sometimes the sport you're doing. Again, they're doing certain things that just like aren't exactly what you would normally be doing. Sometimes you almost like kind of do it to fit in, like maybe not on purpose, but you're like, oh, well, like if they're going to do that, I guess I'll go and like try and fit in with them,
Yeah. Okay, so you were, what'd you call it? Women fitness?
Miss Fitness America.
Miss Fitness
2016.
America.
Yeah, like it's like Miss America, but like for fitness.
I love it.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see why you earned it.
I worked hard for that.
So you were in that chapter, American Ninja Warrior, and then obviously some of this must have not have felt aligned to you anymore or what you wanted to do with your life. What was that transition like, going from here's this huge component of my life and what a lot of this world knows me for who I am, but I want to do something else? Do you remember that part of your life and what that transition was?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And I feel like I just want to say, like, I feel like it just keeps happening. You definitely, you want to say like, don't ever put your identity with something, but it's really hard to not do that. Right. Cause like, I personally, you don't feel like I don't think that you feel like, that you're doing that sometimes, whether it be like putting your identity on the job that you have or putting the identity based on the sport that I was doing or the fact that I'm a business owner. But then when you don't have that, it definitely is like this weird place of like, what am I? Like, what is even happening? But I guess I'll go back to like the first time it happened. So in college, she was a college gymnast. And nobody tells you after sport, like after college or something like that you're just going to be out in the wild now. Like nobody prepared me for that. So all of a sudden you don't have a coach anymore. You're not going to practice. You're not working towards a competition. You're just going to work. And you're like, what am I? Like, and it's like this weird, it's a very weird place to be because something like you said that has been your identity for so long is all of a sudden gone. So what I keep finding what's happening is I would try and figure out what the next thing was. Right. So for me, the next thing after that was I was searching around and I was looking for something similar to gymnastics. I didn't know what it was going to be. Started asking around, and then I got like thrown into these Fitness America competitions because I met somebody and they were like, you get to flip on stage. I'm like, cool. And they're like, but you're going to have to walk on stage with heels also. I was like, what? I was like, I've never worn heels before. Like, and they like were like, you need to go to the stripper store and get the clear heels. I was like, what? What is happening? But I do think that each piece, like as you change your identity, whatever it might be, it definitely it builds you. Like I definitely learned a lot from each piece of like those identity phases or whatever it might be. But so got into the fitness competitions and became like super addicted to it. I thought it was like absolutely amazing, like to flip on a stage, do your routine, to walk in heels and feel confident like in your body and all those different things, which was great. But then it hit a point where I was doing it for so many years. Obviously, my goal was to get Miss Fitness America. And I remember on that stage, the night right before I was going to compete, I literally could like flash myself back there. I knew I put on all the work, everything. I said, it doesn't matter what happens after this routine. Like, I know I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I knew I was done. Like, there was something about it. After doing it for like 3 years, I feel like sometimes you just know. Like, I felt like there was just something about it. I'm like, I'm ready. I don't know what the next thing is, but I was ready for it. So competed and luckily won. So that was, that helped. I was like, okay, cool. We won and we can go now. And then Ninja Warrior, same thing, competed, did all the different pieces of it. Especially, my story of like tearing my ACL on the show and then having this epic comeback. And then I competed again. Someone asked me this the other day, I competed 6 times in total. So I competed like 3 more times after that. And then it got to a point where the last time I competed, I had the same feeling I had with Miss Fitness America. I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. Like, there's just something about it just didn't feel like it was time to move on. And I almost feel like sometimes that comes from like you've gotten what you needed to out of that chapter, right? They even say that sometimes with like relationships, right? Like you're in a relationship, maybe it didn't last forever, but there was something really something you need to grab from that in order to go to the next thing. But I almost feel like when you think about identity, you want to say you don't want to place your identity on anything in general, but I feel like you're constantly trying to find your identity even more. Like you're constantly building on that identity by those different pieces. So I think it's really hard to fully detach, technically, I think, from an identity.
I agree. And I think your identity, what if your whole identity is just on internal things and it's, I'm a kind person? Well, what if you don't want to identify as a kind person anymore? I mean, we're always going to be shifting through those things.
I think it's all the experiences that we go through, like, and all the, I'm talking about mine about sports, and maybe that's something else to whoever's listening, right? But it's like, I think you go through all those different pieces, and you start to build who you want to be by that. And my favorite thing to do, maybe you've done it before, love talking to like older women who are like 70s. First of all, I'm obsessed with them. Like, they're amazing because I think that I'm so excited to hit that point and be this person that they are to me, but they can just like look at all of it and look back and like they can see exactly like what I'm going through. And I remember one of the older women told me the other day, she's like, I was listening to your podcast. She's like, I could see myself in you. I'm like, okay. And she's like, you're not behind. She's like, you're right on time. Every little piece of this is so important. I think maybe when we get older and continue to get wiser, maybe we'll hit that point where we really have truly built that identity through all these different pieces,
What a good, I feel like there's a great business in this, in that a lot of older people, they lack purpose. What if you could just have a conversation with somebody who was in their 70s and that person was able to share like that wisdom with you?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I do it all the time because I work with a lot of them.
I was like, where do you find these women?
Well, so I've helped thousands of women get their first pull-up, and a lot of them are older. So a lot of them are like 60, 70, so like I'm helping them get a skill, but then they're like helping me. Like you don't even realize how much you're helping me by just being there. So like just getting the wisdom from them is just like literally I think that's priceless, honestly.
Wild. I had no idea that of like your get your first pull-up program, that there were so many older women coming into it.
Mostly older women who were like, I've always wanted to get a skill and I want to get stronger. And now obviously longevity is a huge piece of things right now, grip strength. So it literally all aligns so much. But yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. Like I said, they're coming in to get that skill, but like they're also just helping me so much because I think that, just they've experienced so much more life than I've experienced, right? They've seen so much. Like they've already been on the ride. Like we're on the ride. They've already been on the ride down there. So they can kind of give you like some foresight and some wisdom of things that don't matter. I think also maybe as you get older too, you probably see death and you probably see these, things happen. And then that also creates like huge insight and aha moments that they could probably provide for us. But absolutely, I think that I was thinking the other day when, with my podcast, like who I want to bring on. And I was thinking about older people, just to grab their insight,
I love that.
Yeah.
That would be really cute.
Yeah.
You mentioned that when you know something's done, you just know. And I think a lot of us know, and then we almost get frustrated with ourselves how long it takes to take action. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself in that when I know something, I know, and then I get really frustrated with, "Oh, I knew that 3 months ago and I'm still doing it."
For sure.
How long does it take you when you know to like take an action to get out of the thing or to end the thing?
I think it takes a while because even with I think that I probably should have stopped Ninja like 2 seasons before that. Like, I knew that already, but I was like, oh, well, maybe because I think we stay in it because it's familiar, right? Our whole body, our whole mind, like we're trying to keep ourselves safe and in the same thing. And it's the same thing with like, even we had talked about my pull-up program, like, the pull-up program, it still exists, but I had known that I wanted to go to the next thing for a while now, but it was hard because I built this whole thing. Like, I'm so familiar with
It's your
it.
baby too.
Yeah, everyone knows me for it. All those things. Like, how do I let go of it? And I do think it just giving yourself the grace that it might need, like the time. Like you might, there's going to be a period where you're going to know it's not the thing anymore, but it's almost like, because it's like a death. And I actually had someone tell me this the other day, which is so helpful. It was a woman who has like a super well-known podcast and just great wisdom. And I was telling her how I was feeling about this. I'm like, I feel like I'm having like an identity crisis, literally. And she was like, oh, I just had one of those. And she was basically like, I did this thing, and this might be powerful for you too, where she wrote an obituary for it.
Ooh, okay.
She wrote an actual obituary. Like, she basically laid it to rest. And I think that was like something that she said was really helpful for her to finally let it go, because it's very hard to let go of. Because when you're kind of like, people talk about it all the time as like you got your foot on first, but you're trying to get to second.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, until you let go, how are you going to get there?
I'm going to challenge that though. So, and this is in particular to you who is somebody who has built a pull-up program and many other programs.
Yeah.
Letting it go is like saying, I built this house and now I'm going to burn it down. Instead of saying, I built this house and I'm going to let somebody else live in it. Now I'm going to sell it to somebody else.
Yeah, I like that.
You don't have to burn the thing down in order to move on from it.
Yeah.
Because you look at any wildly successful person, they probably own 50 companies. They don't burn them down when they're done. They just move on.
Yeah.
But the company still runs. They still own the asset. So you spend all this energy building an asset, and now you're simply saying, I put in all that hard work and now I'm just going to let it go to zero.
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
That's true. But or you could take a piece with you and just say it's going to evolve. So maybe like you're going to like expand the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not burn it down, but expand it. You know what I mean? I do think there might be some points though for people like where it might be time to burn it down though. Don't
Fair.
you think? Like maybe it's situational.
Yeah.
Depending on what the thing might be. No, it's like interesting to think about, right? Because there may be certain things where it's like truly like, okay, this like I think the question that always comes up when I'm like on podcasts and stuff is like, when do you know when it's time to actually stop? Like when to quit? Like, how do you actually know like this is not the thing anymore? Or like you've given it your due diligence, your time, and it's just not like it anymore. So I think maybe it's situational, but I love the idea of like, yeah, maybe you let somebody else live in it, or you expand upon it or something like that. It doesn't necessarily need to be like a full burn down.
Yeah. Well, it's like what we were talking about on the way here where knowing your numbers. And so you can let something go if you know it actually still sustains like your long-term goals. And to your point, like when you actually just let something go, it's like, hey, if the numbers actually just don't make sense, if the energy doesn't make sense, if the desire doesn't make sense, and if the numbers don't make sense, let the thing go. But if some pieces of the puzzle are still there and maybe somebody else can kind of take it and run with it, I actually think that's a great way to kind of go through life.
I kind of love that idea. I love that idea of it. And I think that's really important what you just said too about the numbers and stuff like that. I think when you build the business sometimes, you like the best way to learn how to build a business is to build the business.
100%.
And then you're in it, and then you might realize that this model is not long-term sustainable. And I told you with mine, like we're building it now from like a strong, like a foundation. Now I've got so much knowledge from all the ones that weren't the way exactly that I wanted to be, so that we can zoom out to hopefully create. But there's still a chance that you do it and it's up, no, start over. Got to do it. Got to do a different way foundationally. But yeah, no, I definitely think it's like, when do you figure out? And if the numbers really truly do not make sense anymore, like, then you do have to put the question on there. It's like, is it worth it for your time, your energy, the resources? Maybe there's another way to do it, and knowing that's okay. And I've seen it so many times lately. I don't know if it's just like time of year, but like a bunch of businesses lately have just been like out. like you just been seeing them fall down and collapse on all sorts of places. Ones that you thought were like maybe thriving, and then you start to realize that, okay, maybe that business model didn't work.
Yeah, yeah. And I think for a lot of us, when we're building something or creating something, we get really attached to it.
Yeah.
And we just don't want to let the thing go, even if it doesn't make any sense. And I think something you said was really important, which was understanding, like, do I want to continue to build this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And also, when you mentioned that you're continually trying to build new things, because you're kind of exercising the muscle of building something from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it builds this inherent confidence for you that you can actually build anything that you want to build.
For sure.
And so it allows you to detach from singular ideas, because you know you'll have another one and another one and another one. But the only way you can do that is by just building the business. So it's like stepping into it, knowing it might not work, knowing it's going to be hard, because now you know the next one's actually going to be a little bit easier.
Absolutely. It's like anything. It's even with just anything you go through besides business, right? I remember I tore my left ACL in college, doing it like a gymnastics move. And then I tore my ACL on the right side 10 years later on Ninja Warrior. And I remember my friend, I called her like hysterical, and she had done something similar with her ankle. She had messed up her ankle real bad to get a massive surgery, and then it happened to her again. I don't remember how many years later. And she said, like, you're much more equipped because you went through the recovery process on your left side, that this side's not going to maybe be as bad. And I remember just like, I loved her wisdom at the time. At the time, I was like, stop. But it's so true. It's so true. Like, you're going to get better at it as, like, if you've done it once, you're going to be able to do it again. And like, you've learned so much and you have so much more knowledge than you did prior, which is so important.
It's truly, truly, truly. Of everything you've learned in life, everything you've gone through in life, what has that now equipped you to do next?
Oh my goodness, so much. I look at all the knowledge I have now and I'm like, I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful that I ripped the Band-Aid off. I did a lot of like, just rip the Band-Aid off and go for it. I'm a messy action girl, let me just tell you. Like, but I learned so much, and I'm seeing how it all is coming together and why it wasn't so important that I learned each piece of those things. Like, we go way back, like biochemistry, like you would never think that, well, how that would relate to whatever it is that I'm doing now, right? But I learned all about scientific methods and making sure that you're, again, looking at things like research and experiment, right? But yeah, I feel like all the lessons that I've learned now have really, one, like this next business that I'm building up for like my keynote speaking and the coaching program that I'm doing now. It's like I have so much skills and knowledge from just trying the dang thing, just doing it messy and learning from the failures and the ups and downs of it. If I did not do that messy, I would not have half of the knowledge that I have now, right? But yeah, I feel like the biochemistry helped me with the research stuff. I feel like I opened up a gym, a physical brick and mortar. I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I learned so much about like what it really takes to the different pieces for a business. I've learned from like all the different pieces from business. I've learned from, Miss Fitness America, how to be tall, confident, and, have a presence or whatever you might be. With Ninja, like truly, like actually overcoming obstacles and all the different pieces behind it. So I feel like everything that I've done, it's like, that's why I feel like it's really tough sometimes when we're talking about, let's go back to what we were talking about before with like being really clear and having clarity on like where you want to go. Because I think that sometimes you think you're going to go through and you're going to get to like this blue door, like you see a blue door, we're going to go to a blue door, but the universe is like, no, all the experience is going to take you to this yellow door, and you're going to be opening up things that you never could have imagined because of all the experience and how it all kind of like trickles in together. So I just think it's such a powerful thing, all the skills that I've learned. Like, you will never, and this was really helpful for me as I was going through transitions, you'll never lose the experience you got. You never will. No matter what burns down, doesn't happen, you will always have the experience, the knowledge, the skills that you learn that will never go away. So it's like never a waste no matter what.
I love that. I love this blue door, yellow door analogy. What came into my mind was surrender. So the blue door is ego. It's I've made this decision and I'm going through the blue door. The yellow door is I'm surrendered to life. And maybe the yellow door makes more sense.
Yeah, maybe it goes there. Or maybe there's like a pink door. Where the heck that come from? And you're like, I never even realized like that you never even thought that was even going to be possible, or that was something like just completely out of the blue comes, like an opportunity comes down from you and you're like, oh my goodness, thank God I had all this experience, because I was still trying each day and putting one foot in front of the other. So yeah, I think it's really powerful to the surrender. Man, the amount of things that have happened to me when I surrendered is insane. I don't know why we can't just fully exercise that all the time. It's so hard for me to do. I remember when I finally got on the cover of Oxygen magazine, and it was after years of me just being annoying about it. I was like staring at it on my vision board. I had photoshopped myself on the cover, all these things. And then I can't remember what year I just surrendered. I'm like, you know what? Like, I didn't think I was going to get it. I'm like, we're just going to like not obsess over it anymore. We're just going to leave it to the side and I'm just going to go keep doing my things. And then 3 years later, I get a call. Hey, we've got an opportunity to be on the cover. Like, but it was when I fully had surrendered. I almost like forgot about it. Like I fully surrendered. And you hear that sometimes even with people who manifest things, right? They like write stuff on a piece of paper. People do this a lot with relationships and like finding their partner. They write it on a piece of paper and they put it under their bed. And it's like, I'm not going to read it every day. I just know it's going to happen. And there's been tons of stories with, can you believe, like, after I finally married that person, I took that piece of paper out and they did almost everything on my list.
It's
like,
pretty crazy.
Insane. Just from surrendering and saying, hey, I know something's going to happen for me. Or maybe it was even better.
Yeah. I did something similar. I did this on New Year's a couple years ago. I wrote down 3 things I wanted to accomplish in the next year, and then I burned 2 of them. And I said the one that I kept was the one I'm in control of. The 2 that I burned, I've surrendered to.
Ooh, chills.
Yeah.
Chills.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
I wish I remembered what they were, to be
Ooh,
honest.
imagine.
But yeah, I actually don't know.
I
don't know if I remember what they were. Yeah.
And they might have happened.
Yeah, could have.
Who knows?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's incredible. No, I love that. I think it's so important. Yeah. It's like that fine balance. It's like, it's so funny. It's like we're constantly telling people to like make the plan and be clear and blah, 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 blah. But then it's like the same balance of surrendering. It's like, like, how do we do?
Well, that's what's so hard about it is I think what you said was so helpful in that you almost forgot about it. I think that's the important thing. So for me, I know when I was 23, I had kind of like, this was my dream life that I wanted to live. This was my 10-year plan. And when I turned 31, I was living that life, but I wasn't thinking about it from 23 to 31 until I was 31. I'm like, oh, this was the life I said I wanted back then. So it's like I manifested it, but I also wasn't controlling it the whole way. I wasn't obsessing over it. And then the thing happened that I always wanted to happen.
I think when you obsess over it, it's almost like you suffocate it.
You hold too tight.
And you push it away.
It's like a partner.
I was going to say, I feel like it's such a great way to just like say it with a partner. I mean, there's people for me where like, I was like, oh, I really want to be with this person. And I'm just like, oh, like I like suffocate, I'm always like, I'm going to be with this person. I'm going to be with this person. And then it's like, they're just getting further and further like, okay, this is too much. This is too much. This is too much. When you surrender and you just say you trust, like that's when that perfect partner like just comes like out of nowhere. But absolutely, I feel like when you're suffocating something, you almost are pushing it away sometimes when you're suffocating it too much. When you're so obsessive over the outcome like that. We all know, and we say it, everyone says it all the time, the journey is like way more important. So it's like when you're obsessing over the outcome, typically it's going to make the outcome harder to get to.
Yeah. What's been the hardest part of your life right now to surrender to?
Oh my goodness. The hardest part to surrender to right now is what we were just talking about, was that I don't like the clarity piece of it. I'm typically like, if I know, like for Ninja, I was like, I'm going to come back and I'm going to make it, I'm going to crush it. Like that was my goal. I knew what I was setting myself out to do. So I very much knew every single day what task I need to do and how I'm going to get there and what I'm going to do every single week and who I want to show up as, right? But right now I'm in the middle of the kind of the creative, anything's open. Like it's kind of like, it's being created right now. And I think it's been really hard for me to surrender to that because I want to know now. Like I want to know what that thing is. But I keep reminding myself that, and it's interesting. So my keynotes are a lot about like uncertainty, like overcoming challenges. I'm like, what a beautiful place to write this and like really, really like do this when you're in the depths of it. It's almost like the universe has like put me there because it was like, I want you to be in this uncertain place right now because you're going to be able to fully experience the feelings that everyone else is probably feeling right now. So surrendering to me right now is like, I don't really fully know what this next thing is. I know the keynotes is like, obviously, like I know for sure that's like the big thing that I want to continue to do, but I'm creating something else right now. And it's like, I don't fully know what it is right now. So it's hard to know what to do every single day. It's not like, it's not fully created yet. So it's surrendering to like, this thing is coming to life. And it's maybe something, again, that you never imagined that it could be.
Yeah. Do you ever think about the question of why you were put here on this earth?
Oh, all the time. And I feel like maybe I thought everyone had these feelings, but maybe not. I don't really know. I knew from a very young age that like, I was put on this planet to like do something that was to lead or to help people to be greater. I just always knew. I don't know what it was. Like I always had these like when I was younger, these like visions in my head, like to be bigger, to whether it be like me, I was like pretending to like be in a music video or like on a stage. I didn't really know what it was, but I knew I always had that like in my head and it was always kind of there. And I'd asked other people one day, like, oh, do you have those too? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I feel like put on this planet. I mean, I was definitely put on this planet and there's some kind of attraction to some kind of leading that I keep doing for people, that people keep coming to me to help them with certain things. And I was like, if I have that gift and that is what I'm on this earth to provide, like, I want to be able to do that. Like, it's not about me. Like, it's like, how can I help all these people around me that really need that right now? That's why I told you, even like looking at people's eyes when I see them in real life or chatting with these people on the calls that I have sometimes, I'm like, I have so much that I can provide and so much that I can give them. Like, and so I feel like I was put on this earth to give and to really help people. I think, I've done a lot of crazy things. Maybe they didn't like actually pan out the way I wanted to, but like, how can I encourage other people to go for those things? Like, so that's what I definitely feel like I'm on this planet to do, which is, again, has nothing to do with me, right? When it comes down to it. But like, you think about the magazine covers, all the stuff I did, like I did think when I first started doing that those were about me. Like, I just want to be a hot girl on the cover. But once I got it, I realized, no. This is not what this is about at all. This is like, hey, I'm going to be that person on the cover that people look up to so they do something for themselves. So yeah, I feel like deeply I'm on this planet for that. How about you?
I love that response.
Yeah.
And what a gift. What a gift to know you're here to serve such a great role for so many people. Like, it's a gift to be able to, that you've been given to be able to hold that thought and hold that as your mission and why you're here.
Yeah, I do feel grateful for that. Do I know how that's going to come about? Not fully. I mean, it gets come about in random ways, but internally, I've always had that feeling for some reason, and I can't explain it. I can't even fully explain why.
I love that. Yeah. You had asked, what about me?
Yeah.
Which was, for me, I'm put here to help people build their dream lives and their dream business.
Ooh, I love that. You've got a gift for that for sure.
And I love it so much. I love helping somebody achieve a thing that they never thought was possible. It's very similar to you.
Yeah.
And mine is more so, I have a knack for just understanding how to build companies. And I know there's a lot of people that want to build businesses. And yeah, I'm gifted with the fact that I've done it many, many times. And like you, I've tried and failed many, many times. But through that process, I've learned so much about who I am and what I can offer people that it makes me feel really full to see somebody get a thing that they never thought that they were going to have.
It's so wild how similar it is, but in a different, well, like for you, it's the building the businesses for people. And for me, it's like helping them get into like feeling strong and confident in their bodies, or like doing like an impossible skill or the promotion or what it be. But it's so cool, like how, again, you're using like your experience and your skill set and something that feels really good for you. And like, we're basically doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
And then to your point, it's understanding why all these things happened to you in your past, why you started certain companies that didn't work, why you were, on the cover of certain magazines, and you don't know why in the moment the thing didn't work, and you just have to surrender to, okay, this didn't work and it's meant to be part of my journey, and understanding this thing had to happen for this journey to actually take place and for me to be on the right journey.
Absolutely. I think, trusting is probably the hardest part about.
It's so hard.
It's so hard.
Why?
But I guess whatever, we're all in it together, so it's fine.
Yeah. I wonder if it was hard back before social media and when you didn't have visibility into all these people winning. The people that you had visibility into winning were people in magazines and so like true celebrities. Everybody else you probably just assumed were just humans. Like you didn't think anything. So did we have this complex of not fast enough, wrong timing, why not me?
Now you're thinking about it, probably. I mean, I would say for sure I have a hard time sometimes going on social media and looking at all this stuff. And even being here in Austin, we're in this bubble. Everyone's doing epic stuff. I mean, and I love them for it. I really do. But I'm also like, shit. Like, it definitely is so much. I just told you that I was at an event last night. Huge imposter syndrome. I'm like, what am I doing in this room? Like, why am I here? Because so many people are doing such incredible things. So I definitely feel like social media definitely makes it hard. I'm grateful that there are some people who, and I try my best to share like the ups and downs of my journey so people can see like this is not like all the shiny stuff and the great things that are happening. This is like me in the depths, like figuring this stuff out. So I think that's really important. But yeah, I really would be curious as to what life would be like without the social media again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or would we just go and it would be something else, like we'd be on TV, watching it on TV or something.
Yeah.
Because it seems like obviously TV is like inadequate at this point. Like no one's really watching TV anymore, right? At this point, like we're all just like on Instagram or some other social media platform or looking at our favorite YouTube person or whatever. There's always something something that somebody does. But yeah, I think that if you can try our best, we talk about this a lot, to disconnect at least from it, at least like once or twice a week. I think it's really important to just stay off it. Don't scroll on it. Don't look at it. Just come back to you. Put your focus on you. The reason a lot of those people are winning is because they are very focused on themselves. They're not focused on like what somebody else is doing. So if you can put your focus back on you again, you could probably make something like just explode it.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. So you've had conversations with a ton of women. What is the question that seems to come up the most, or the general theme that seems to come up the most? And what would you say to that question?
Okay, so for women, like just the women I talk to for like health stuff, you think?
Yeah. I think the women who are in your community, the women you talk to, the people you have one-on-ones with, you just have visibility into the questions that people are struggling with the most. And I'd be curious what people are struggling with that you're aware of, and what's your response to that?
I think a big part of it right now, especially since I'm working with a lot of women who are like transitioning body wise with a lot of things, it's kind of like, why are some of the things that used to be working not working anymore? Like, why is my body so different? Because I feel like they come in and like, when you're younger, you can work out like 2 times a day, do all this stuff and eat nothing, and you're probably lean out. And then when you get to a certain age, that doesn't work anymore. Like that no longer works. And now you're getting like this counterintuitive advice to be like, wait, we got to like actually work out a little bit less, recover more and eat more. And you're like, what? So I feel like that's a big piece that keeps coming up, is them learning to not compare themselves to their past body and to start focus on your current body and to love the current body where it is right now, right? Like in the process of figuring it out and realizing that what was working for your past body, or what was working for whatever the hell you're seeing on Instagram, may not be what is working for you now. So I think that that question constantly comes up. So I'm always trying to give the knowledge as to why these things are so, and trying to get women back to like feeling good in their body again. But that's like the main one that keeps coming up. It's just like, oh man, what I used to do is not working anymore. Oh, I'm feeling flabbier than I used to before. I'm feeling slower. I'm feeling like this. Okay, what are you doing? Oh, the same things that I've been doing since, or what this person saw on Instagram. The other questions that always come up, and I think this is so fair, is like, we're in a world with just information. There's so much information. I mean, the amount of questions I get from just like, I heard on this podcast that this person told me to do that and that. And I always come back to, again, what works for your body? Like, cool. You saw that on Instagram. That's great knowledge to know. But like, let's figure out what truly actually works for you, your body, and your time, your realistic time. Like some of these things, like it's like most of the people I talk to still have a lot of responsibility. They're probably still working, probably have kids they're taking care of. They're running around like crazy. Do they have time to do like a 2-hour workout like every day? No, like they don't. So like, how do you like actually integrate that into your life? So, but yeah, I think a huge piece of it is like, this isn't my current body. It's not working the way it used to. And also just information overload. There's so much information.
Yeah. When somebody wants to make a shift, when somebody goes to make a shift in whether it be eating habits or workout, fitness, whatever, because they're understanding that they need to actually change their habits to change the body in the way that they want to, how much time do they need to give for that thing to actually work or show some form of results?
I mean, definitely like 3 months minimum.
Okay.
Minimum. I'm actually changing stuff now at my program now. I'm making it 6 months because I'm just like, it's got to be 6 months minimum. Like you got to try the thing. And it's not like, I think what's really important to know about this too, it's not about making a massive shift for 6 months, like starting on day one. It's like making small incremental shifts that are you can stick to at the end of the day. So with a lot of the stuff that I'm doing for people, it's like very slow, like a slow roll. If you're like only working out, if you're not working out at all, you're not going to start working out 5 days a week on day one, right? But you can gradually build that up to that in 6 months, right? So thinking more of the long game is so important when it comes to like all of this. You can't think, and if you are getting quick results really quickly from certain things, chances are it's not going to stick. It's just not. Like if you're like all of a sudden, like I've seen it a million times with my dad, my mom, like people are like, they literally went on this crazy diet, they lost all this weight, and then boom, like a couple months later, it's all back on, right? So doing something that's going to be slow and thinking long-term game, like how can I actually do this forever? And we were just talking about that with business as well. Same shit with your business. It's like, think like long-term, what's the long game for it?
Yeah. Yeah. Long-term and just understanding that you're not going to see results really quick. We're just so much in this mindset of like the get rich quick, which is whether it be money, get rich quick can apply to the body, physically, mentally,
for sure.
all of it. Like
instant gratification. I mean, we're in a world right now of instant gratification with everything. So we just assume, like, you know what I mean? Like, but just like scrolling and stuff like that. I want it now. I want it now. If you get it right now, there's definitely like a quote for that, right? If it's like fast and it's not. I can't remember what it is right now, but it's if you're getting something like super quick like that, it's probably not the way to go.
Yeah, and I think we saw a lot of that with the crypto world in particular, where a lot of people made a lot of money very quickly, and you just don't know what to do at that point. You don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to repeat it. It's not a skill, really. It just kind of happened. And not to say anybody who did make money, it wasn't a skill, but it was just I think it ends up creating a lot of difficulties. You see that sometimes with people who kind of like explode on social media. It's like, oh, now I have 1 million followers. Now, I'm doing $1 million a year in a business where I did 50 grand last year. What do I do? Do I hire a $50,000 coach? You just you get really confused.
Absolutely. So I think like definitely the slow roll is like the better way to do it. And it's going to be more sticky. It's actually going to stick instead of it you trying to do something really quick. But yeah. So now in my programs, like I said, as I'm revamping everything, I'm just seeing like I want to create real long-term change for people. And that's got to be like, you need to be committed for like 6 months to something. And like truly see. And then, like I said, if it's not working, this is all an experiment, right? Like, so do the stuff. I tell this to my clients all the time as we're going through each week. I'm like, we're going to work on this stuff. We're going to see if that works. Did that work? That didn't work. Okay, we're experimenting and we're going to figure out exactly what will work for you.
Yeah. The experimenting through life. Like I think that's what all life is. And you mentioned it with like identity shifts. You are experimenting with a new identity and you're seeing how that feels. How does it feel to be wearing this identity? Does it feel right? What feels off? What do I not want? What do I want?
And like I said, with the age comes the wisdom, all of that. And then you start to realize, like, again, you talk to these older people, they know who the heck they are, man. I love it. But they have, again, a whole like 35 more years plus on me of experience.
It's a lot of wisdom.
It's a lot of wisdom and a lot of life to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're towards the end. Is there anything that you feel that you've learned through your years of wisdom that would just be really impactful for somebody? Let's say they're early 20s, you're like, I've been there, I've done this, I've gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think would be really helpful for somebody now, or even the version of you in your 20s to hear?
Oh man, yeah. If I could tell myself so many things. I would probably say, well, this is a huge part of where I'm at right now. Don't live in the future. Like that's, yes, think about your future, but don't forget about living right now in your present moment because it's the only thing that you have and you're not going to get that back. And I think that's really important because we could like blink and all of a sudden it could be like a year later and we've been like doing all this stuff in the projects and that's fine. But like really appreciate like the now, like the suck of it, the ups and downs of it, whatever it might be. I would definitely go back and tell myself, my past self, like make sure you are fully like present with where you're at right now. You can do all the things, but you don't need to do them right now. You can pick a couple of things and then just be really present with where you're at because you're never going to get this moment we have now. We're not going to get it back. It's crazy, right? Isn't that wild? So I think that's what I would tell my future self, my past self.
Be fully present.
Just be fully present.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Well, thank you, Angela.
Thanks so much for having me.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
All right,
Bye. Bye.